So we are commemorating 40 years of the imposition of internal emergency in India. And there is the usual talk of why did it happen, how did it happen, what all happened, and most importantly, can it happen again? To ask, can it happen again, is to suggest that there is one thing called the emergency that happened for 21 months and then, poof, it went. As a constitutional event, that may well be true. But if emergency means the abrogation of rights, the inability to speak and get your voice heard, suspension of laws meant to protect democratic and fundamental rights, and most crucially, a totalitarian attitude of the governing apparatus, the state, towards the citizens, then it is far from being an open and shut case whether the emergency began that day in June 1975 and has it ever gone away. There are then two emergencies. One, a procedural, a constitutional event, and the other, a substantive state of affairs in the lives of citizens. The event that we commemorate was alarming and despotic and authoritarian. It reached the homes and the freedoms of the middle and upper classes, the commemorating classes. But think for a moment of the relationship that the poor and the deprived, in all senses, have with the state in India. See the connectionless and capital-deprived cowering citizen when faced with the majesty of the Indian state. This is not the stuff that gets headlines every day. It is not meant to. Occasionally an instance here and there will rise from the flotsam of information and become news. A citizen burnt to death by the police here and a custodial rape there. Police brutality there and summary arrests here. And a polio-stricken professor who has to be kept in solitary confinement here, and over 2 lakh under trials all over. You don't get it. Emergency was far worse. Rights were constitutionally abrogated. More than 1 lakh people were arrested. Right. Not a jot of doubt there. But when constitutional rights do not substantively mean much for the lives of many citizens, the procedural imposition and the withdrawal of these rights mean even less, if anything at all, for them. If emergency is a state of affairs, a state of being where the citizen negotiates with the state in fear, under surveillance, with the stinging knowledge that the customary laws of the state apparatus and its functionaries are far more potent than those found in law books, then emergency is not a condition that the country has put behind. And therein lies another rub. The commemorative emergency is about the event that affected middle-class enclaves across the country. And that is gone. And we need not fear for such enclaves have more media, more access to the wider world, and the procedural amendment in place to make it difficult to impose another emergency. But beyond these rich and middle-class pockets, the fear of the state and the insouciant dismissal of such notions as habeas corpus are writ large. In different parts of the country, forest, troubled states, villages and slums, the laws are different. Not different law books, just different laws. And these laws are closer to the skin, far more effective and searing, and these ensure many emergencies across the land. Just as there is the Independence Day that we commemorate as an event, and then there is the freedom that we wish for, so also with the emergency. There is the procedural one, that is the stuff of our talk. And then there is the substantive emergency, still upon us at a million places, in a million stations. And its removal, our unfinished task of 40 years and more.